All right. Hey, folks, it's Lindsey Huddleston back in the building again. Another SPS Mental Health Moment. Technology is wonderful. I get to catch up with some great people. One of my favorite young men. I always enjoy not just the interviews, but watching him work out, not just at the games, but when he's in the gym getting up shots. Come from a great family with his dad, Orlando Lovejoy Sr. But I'm here to introduce to you Orlando Lovejoy Jr. of Summit Academy, Dragon Country. How you doing, man?
Good. How about you?
Good, man. Good to see you. Last time I saw you was both in the practice right before your game, and you had a big hard-fought game against Mount Clemens. You guys were able to get the dub in that one, and went on to extend the season a little bit more. But why don't you give us a recap of what the season was like for people who don't know what's been going on with you?
The season was long. The season was it's actually kind of cut short. We hope to play more games than we got a chance to play, but we got a lot better from last year. We got a lot of new transfers, and we just focused on winning and getting better as a team, which we did. We went 14-4. Hopefully we were going to win our district and move on to regionals and hopefully make it to Breslin. But, season was a good one, Can't wait for the next year.
I know. Probably one of the most youngest teams in the area, and congratulations on the success that you guys had this season. What has it been like for you? I've always been impressed with your leadership and how you lead your peers, but what has it been like for you being on a young team, but also dealing with, a huge roller coaster of a season with playing well, but then it being cut short?
It's hard because you prepare so much for the end of the season. You prepare for playoffs and districts just to, not get a chance to, for it all to pay off. It's kind of hard, but being on a young team is good because the whole team gets to come back again next year, and we can try again next year.
You can build on that. Now, talking to Coach Mark White, he talked about the assignment he gave you guys. I mean, the whole world is watching The Last Dance, but for you to have to watch it not just as a fan, but also as a player, and to be able to take some things away. So I'm just curious, what's some things you took away from The Last Dance that really stood out to you?
Does it keep saying I keep
Yeah, it's like your picture is going in and out, but we'll just keep going through it. Don't worry about it.
What I'm getting from The Last Dance is how Michael Jordan was so competitive and how he pushed everybody, how he gave himself mental challenges to make himself better even though he wasn't always pushed, and how a lot of people didn't like being pushed by Michael Jordan. He pushed everybody to be great, and he held himself to a certain standard that he held everybody else to.
Now, let me guess. Are there some things you can relate to and what you saw with that?
Yeah, a lot of pushing, hold myself to a high standard. And, I like to hold, my teammates to an even higher standard. I feel like we can all set for each other.
Yeah. What's something that really stood out to you that kind of surprised you? I know a lot of players, for example, probably didn't know that he was not a one and done. He wasn't just this phenom coming out of college. So what's some other things that you saw that kind of stood out to you after you watched it?
That Michael Jordan, he pursued baseball, and even pursuing baseball, they say he still came to hit early, before the games, after the games, and so no matter what he did, he always tried to be the best at whatever he did, and even baseball, which is kind of shocking to me.
Yeah, I know your Coach White may not want to hear this, but they talk about players playing other sports. They asked Michael Jordan what he was doing when he was 11 and 12 years old. He said he was playing baseball. Yeah. Now, that being said, I think that speaks to just having this well-rounded experience. So talk about your work ethic. When I first met you, it was over at University of Detroit. You were in the gym working out with your dad. And shout out to your dad, man. I do want to acknowledge the fact that, so many times, unfortunately, there's a narrative of young black males who play sports that is just a single-parent household, most cases led by a mother. Dad is absentee. But in your particular case, I know you have a support group. You have your dad, Orlando Lovejoy Sr., as well as Coach Mark White you're very close to. But talk about the relationship with both those men. First, talking about the relationship with you and your dad.
Constant pushing. My dad always pushes me to a different level, whether I feel like I can reach it or not. He holds me to a standard that sometimes I may not even feel I can reach myself, which is, good for the constant pushing in different challenges, coming into every workout, every game. He challenges me mentally. So in the game, when other people challenge me, it's easy because I get it all the time from home or in the gym or wherever. So
No,
it's
very
good.
good. Now, interesting when you talk about he holds you to a standard sometimes you feel maybe beyond your reach. Have you ever found yourself exceeding the expectations that he put out there, or maybe it was a standard you thought you could not reach, but you eventually did?
I felt like I had, but to him, probably never, not once. So
Dad, I
keep
tried to hear,
pushing.
huh? Well, definitely want to pay homage to your dad, but you're in a unique situation because in some cases the coach is like the father figure and like that sole person. But in your particular case, because you have your dad so supportive of you and your process, and you also have Coach Mark White as well. What is it like having almost another type of strong male figure in your life as well?
It just constantly makes me better because if you already have one at home, then you have one on the court. It's just, easy to adjust, So if my dad's a winner, Coach White's a winner, it's easy to go from working out to my dad to working out with Coach White, They both try and push the same thing. So
Sure. Really good. So what advice would you give to another young person your age or younger or maybe even a little bit older who all of a sudden has these type of situations? Maybe they may not have a strong father in their life like you do. And so they have to have a coach or they have to rely on someone. But how would you tell them to prepare themselves to be able to deal with someone that has high standards and wants to push them?
uh, you know, mentally you have to put yourself through situations in your head because, having a strong male figure in your life, they're not always going to be easy on you and you can't break down because they only want what's best. So you have to you know, just be prepared for it. Don't take everything hard, just take it.
And go from there. Society, there's a portion of society that talks about uh, people being too hard on young people and some coaching styles being too difficult. When you hear people say things like that and you talk about the experience you've had with your dad and Coach White, who've been pushing you to greatness, how do you respond to that?
Well, I think different limits for different people. Some people aren't used to being pushed to a high level every practice, every game. So it may be too hard for some people, but some people who are used to it, I don't think it's ever too much for somebody that's used to it. Just constantly push them more because it can only make somebody stronger. So
No, very good, very good. Talk about what your expectations are for the season when it resumes. What's your vision for the Summit Dragons, and what would you like to see for the remainder of the time you have there at Summit?
well, I would like to see us go to Breslin the next 2 years, hopefully win a state championship because, I felt that we could have went pretty far this year with the guys we had. And we have a whole nother team coming back next year with a whole summer to work out together. None of the guys that played with us this year, I think none of them played summer league or fall league. So I think with that and then plus our incoming freshmen, I think it's gonna be hard to beat us. So I'm expecting big things.
Great, you're doing a great job. Well, Orlando, before we wrap up, the reason you and I are talking on Zoom and not face to face with me watching you on the shooting machine or in the beautiful facility that you have at Summit Academy is because of the coronavirus and the quarantine that's taking place. What inspirational message can you give to the Summit community, to the basketball community, or just anyone who's listening to what you have to say right now?
That the coronavirus is very unfortunate to everybody, not just basketball players. And hopefully everybody stays safe, stay inside. But for the hoopers, this is a chance to get stronger, add a piece to your game that nobody knew. A chance to get stronger, run. You can add tons of win. Just people ain't gonna see you. Why not come back with something different for everybody to be surprised? Like, oh yeah, he been working. So don't sit around and be lazy because the season gonna come back eventually. You might as well be prepared now and don't have to get ready for it.
Very good. Orlando, it's always a pleasure talking to you. I'm very
So,
inspired by your work ethic. So you keep things up. And when this is all over, we'll see you on the other side, okay?
okay, thank you. You too.
All right. Thank you. I'll talk to you later.
All right.